Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I said in my last video that my next video was going to be about cute ways to pull your hair up to work out. However, my phone has been blowing up with people wanting to know how to achieve curls in your hair using a flat iron. So here we are. If you use a flat iron to get your curls, you can definitely achieve different types of curls with them. You can get tight curls or big curls. I personally like these kind of loose, soft curls, which can absolutely be achieved if you know how to section your hair and how to twist the flat iron to do it. If you want more of those banana curls, spiral curls, whatever you like to call them, then it probably is best to use a curling iron. But it seems like more people are veering towards the flat iron because a lot of people have natural texture to their hair. It gets frizzy because it's hot outside. So the benefit of using a flat iron to get these curls is that it smooths out the cuticle of your hair and gives you a much more polished, finished look. What you'll need to complete this is a hair tie or a hair clip, anything to clip your hair away, a comb to smooth it out, and a flat iron. Now, you don't have to run out and spend $200 on a flat iron to get good results, but I also don't recommend you go to the dollar store and get one. My personal choice is a Brocato Vibrastraight Flat Iron. The plates do vibrate when you put them together because it moves the hair around and you get a more even heat distribution throughout your hair. It makes it shiny, it makes it softer. It also has a heat adjuster on it. If you have fine hair, you really don't need to go above 370 or 390 degrees, or else it can really damage your hair. If you have a little more coarse, thick hair, then you can go upwards of 410 degrees. But no matter what, you should really be using some kind of heat protectant so that it doesn't cause long-term damage to your hair. So if you would like to learn how to achieve these soft curls using a flat iron, please keep watching. We're going to flat iron some curls into this hair. You all are the select few who actually get to see this beautiful hair in its natural state. This is my hair just blow dried, nothing special done to it. Kind of flipped it over my head to get some volume in it up in the crown. I know you all do that. You're guilty of it too. What we're going to do is work with a little bit of bigger sections, and it all depends on what kind of curls you hope to achieve by doing this. If you want little ringlet curls, perhaps it's best to bust out your curling iron because ain't nobody got time for that. But if you're going for some nice, loose, beachy curls, if you want to, I like mine to be a little more on the curly side because I like to wear mine for a couple days. Then you want to take some bigger sections and bigger subsections within those big sections. So the first thing you're going to need to grab is a clip of some kind. You can use a hair tie and pull your hair up as well, but I don't suggest just leaning your head to the side and trying to just pick random chunks of curl to do it. It just tends to get a little overwhelming. What I like to do is work all in diagonals, not going straight across, because you have to remember that your head is round. It's not a square. So working in sections straight across, you're going to get different shapes of curl based on your parting. So I like to start just around the temple, but you're going to go downwards towards your occipital bone. So you're actually going to be starting right about here and just kind of dip it down below your occipital bone. And you're going to pull this hair up and away, about that big of a section. So twist this hair up, and like I said, you can pull it up with a hair tie or whatever. But I find that these, they're called alligator clips, tend to work pretty well. When starting with this much hair, the most common thing I get asked is, how do you curl the hair in the back? Because your arms simply do not bend that way. I like to split my hair down the middle and pull all of the hair to the front. It's just a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to turn your head to be able to access these sides than to try to reach back and hit them with the flat iron that way. So I'm going to grab my comb, just make sure that these sections are free of tangles. And this, you can see about how much hair I have here. It's above the ear, going all the way to the back. I'm just going to take about 3 sections within this section. The important thing when curling is if you want to achieve an all over curly look, you want to alternate which way your curls are actually going, like the direction of the curl. If you want to end up with more of like a finger wave type of effect, then you want all the curls to go in the same direction. So I'm going to start with this back piece down here at the bottom. So it's a fairly big section, and instead of trying to reach all the way back, I'm just simply going to turn my head this way. You don't need to watch yourself curl it, because if you hold on to the tail end of the hair when you're flat ironing it, it's going to make sure that the hair doesn't slip out, which is the most common problem when flat ironing curls in. So go for your flat iron and then start about an inch or two away from the scalp. You don't need to get those curls all the way up to the scalp. All the rest of your hair is going to fall on top of this hair. Most likely the weight of it is going to push those curls off the top of it anyway. So as long as you get the bottom couple of inches to your hair with a little bit of a bend of it, it doesn't matter what happens to the top. So I'm going to start about here, turn my head. Now what I'm going to do is clamp it down, twist, and pull in a downward motion. By pulling down, you're going to elongate the curl, and it's going to cause more of that wave effect and less of a banana curl. So start here, give it a twist, and pull straight down, and let it go. Now, what you want to remember is to leave the hair alone. You don't want to be messing with it too much. Sometimes people's first instinct after they curl their hair is to run their hands through it, and you don't need to do that. Your hair sets from hot to cold. If it's still hot and you're shaking your hands through it, all of that curl is going to shake out. Grab your next section, and so whereas I turn that first one away and pull down, I'm going to pull this one towards my face. So put it in, twist, pull, straight down, let it fall. So you don't need a whole lot of a curl in this, just a bend. Now this around your face, I'm a little more nitpicky around my face just because that's the one people see the most. But again, you want a little bit of a hang around your face. If you put too tight of a curl in, it's all going to spring up, and then you have all this curl around your face. And a lot more of your hair around here is going to cover it up, so you want to make sure it's a little more light. So again, if you have frizzier hair, like I do, or you have naturally curly hair, you do want to start flat ironing towards your scalp to get rid of any waves. But you don't want to put any bend in the flat iron until you get about 2-3 inches away from the scalp. So come on up, start that, just give it a little twist. Again, pull straight down and let it hang. So see, you just get nice revolution in that right there. So there's that one side done. You're going to repeat the same thing on this side. So now you've completed the bottom section of your hair. You're going to undo this clip, and again, kind of around the temple area, about where you parted it before, only this time you're just going to dip a little bit below where the crown of your head is. So just swoop down in this area. Again, pin all the rest of this up at the top. Get it out of the way. And you're going to do the same thing in this section. The only thing I do is I pay a little more attention to where this hair is going to fall on top of this. So if I saw that my last section was curved away on this section, I'm going to start this next section curving towards my face, and then just repeat alternating all the way around.
I'm not surprised, not everything lasts. I've broken my heart so many times I stopped keeping track. Talk myself in, I talk myself out. I get all worked up, then I let myself down. I tried so very hard.
Now we've completed the second section. I have the most amount of hair on the top of my head. Some people don't, some people do. And depending on where you part your hair is going to determine where you're going to part off your next section. My hair always parts on this side. So what I typically do is put my finger where my part is and kind of bring it towards the center. And I'm going to work with one side first and the other side second. So go ahead and clip off the other side. And this side is where my fringe is, so typically I'll do that section last because you want to do a little more fine tuning on that section. When doing this last section of hair, you're probably going to want to pay a little more attention to it because this is the hair that sits on top and you are going to be able to see most of the curls. I start typically in the back, and you are going to take a little bit smaller section than you did on the rest. Now I pull this section straight up, and you're going to do the same thing you did before in a twisting motion, except pulling straight down to elongate the curl, you're going to pull in an upward motion. So again, alternating whichever way you need to go. I start at the scalp, come up about an inch or so, and then twist it and hold the tip of this hair up. So make sure you're pulling in an upward motion, and then let that hair fall. Go to your next section and do the exact same thing, just in a different direction. Straight up, hold that hair, pull straight up. Do this all the way around that front section.
I came up with a million excuses. I thought of every possibility.
Now this section around your face, again, you want to give it a little more detail because you're going to be able to see it. You're going to do the same thing you did around the bottom part. You're going to pull it in a downward motion, except again, I take a little bit smaller sections just so you can see a little bit more of the detail. If you want a little more curl on these top pieces, because you are going to be able to see them a little bit more, then just start twisting the flat iron a little bit closer to the scalp than you did on the bottom sections. So start right at the scalp. You're still going to pull it in a downward motion. You can even twist the flat iron just a little bit more, and make sure you're trying to get as fluid as a movement as you can. You don't want the flat iron to ever sit on your hair because that's when you can get heat damage. So just start as close as you want and pull down. Now I always make sure that this very front piece curves away from the face. It just gives it a little bit of a softer look, but I like to over direct a little bit towards my face and pull straight down, and that gives it a little bit more of a swooping motion. So now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side.
I know someday that it'll all turn out. You'll make me work so we can work to work it out. And I promise you, kid, that I'll give so much more than I get. I just haven't met you yet.
Again, when coming to this front section, I have a lot of hair up at this front part. So I like to split this in half as well. And I'll take often this entire section right here and curl it towards my face because I know the section on top of it is going to curl on top of that. But this also, because I part on this side, which means I have more hair on this side, I won't put my curl as close to my scalp here because I don't want it to poof up too much. So I'll bring it down about 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches, and then just put more of a bend in this, just a very soft curl so it doesn't get too bulky around my face. I separate kind of the fringe area from this last section, curl this away. Now with bangs, if you want more of a swoop bang, you want to subdivide this in angles and curve it like the curvature of your head. So I'm going to take this, clamp the flat iron, and bring it around my head. Excuse me. Then you want to take your next section, do the same thing, again at a diagonal, clamp it right at the scalp, turn your head, don't twist the flat iron, just allow it to follow the shape of your head. Let that drop, grab your next section, same thing, clamp it down, and just follow it around. Just like that. So now that you've completed all your curls, you can add anything you want. A lot of people will spray in some dry shampoo. I'll do that a lot. That gives a lot of texture to your curls. You can also add in some wax. I like to just put in a little bit of gloss drops. It allows your hair to be shiny and smooth. It gets a lot of those flyaways down and gives you just minimal separation without having really heavy product in your hair. Now, depending on how much volume you want is how you're going to shake this out. I like to come from the back forward. You never want to, especially if you have something thicker on your hands, go straight into your scalp with it. You kind of want to real softly kind of just run your hands through those curls to get your excess product off. And then I like to come to the back and just comb this hair forward just with my fingers. Just real loosely, shake them out. I mean, if you really want to get some volume in there, you can flip your head over and shake it out. But if you're just going for kind of a more soft wave, then this is the better way to go. Then after you've got the excess product off, just kind of pull this away from your head, run your fingers through it, and now you have some big, soft, voluminous curls done with a flat iron.